For centuries, humanity has been captivated by the unseen forces that lurk in the shadows of our world. From whispers in the dark to ominous figures that haunt our dreams, the idea of malevolent entities has seeped into the depths of our collective consciousness. But where did this fear of the unknown originate, and how did it evolve into a structured system of belief known as demonology? The medieval period, often shrouded in mystery and superstition, was a time when the boundaries between the physical and the spiritual were blurred. It was an era where the struggle between good and evil was not just a matter of theology, but a tangible reality that influenced every aspect of daily life. As the church sought to define and combat the forces of darkness, demonology emerged as a crucial aspect of medieval thought, a complex and terrifying landscape where demons were not just figments of imagination, but real threats to the soul. In this narrative, we will journey through the origins of medieval demonology, exploring the ancient beliefs that laid its foundations, the theological doctrines that shaped its development, and the cultural forces that consolidated its place in history. Through this exploration, we will uncover how the fear of demons became a powerful tool, wielded by both the church and society, to enforce moral order and explain the inexplicable. Origins, ancient beliefs, and early thought lines. To understand the roots of medieval demonology, we must first journey back to the ancient world, where early civilizations laid the groundwork for what would later evolve into a more organized and terrifying doctrine. The Babylonians, Egyptians, and Greeks, among others, had their own interpretations of spirits and malevolent forces, beings that could influence the natural world, control human fate, and instill fear in the hearts of the living. Pre-Christian roots. In ancient Mesopotamia, the Babylonians believed in a vast array of spirits, known as utaku, which could be either benevolent or malevolent. These entities were thought to inhabit the world alongside humans, influencing everything from health and fortune to the outcome of wars. Among them were the Lamassu and Shidu, protective spirits, but also the Lilitu, precursors to the later demon Lilith, who were blamed for sickness and misfortune. These early concepts of spirits as agents of both good and evil set the stage for later demonological thought. Similarly, in ancient Egypt, the belief in the afterlife was deeply intertwined with the notion of spiritual beings that could either assist or hinder a soul's journey. The Egyptians spoke of demons, or spirits, that guarded the underworld, challenging the souls of the dead with riddles and tests. These beings were not inherently evil, but they played a crucial role in the moral and spiritual order, reflecting the idea that the unseen world was populated by entities that could affect both the living and the dead. Greek mythology also contributed significantly to the development of demonological thought. The Greeks had a complex pantheon of gods, spirits, and demons, not to be confused with the later Christian notion of demons, which were considered intermediaries between the gods and humans. These demons could be protective or harmful, and their dual nature mirrored the later Christian view of demons as fallen angels, once servants of God, now agents of evil. Christian integration. As Christianity began to spread across the Roman Empire, it absorbed and reinterpreted many of these ancient beliefs. Early church fathers, like Augustine of Hippo, sought to explain the existence of evil within a monotheistic framework. They interpreted pagan gods and spirits as demons, rebellious angels who had been cast out of heaven for their defiance against God. This interpretation allowed the early Christians to co-opt and repurpose existing pagan beliefs, integrating them into a Christian worldview that emphasized the battle between the forces of light and darkness. The Christian demonization of pagan deities and spirits was a strategic move that helped to solidify the church's authority. By declaring these beings as demons, the church positioned itself as the only force capable of combating them, thereby reinforcing its moral and spiritual dominance. This was a critical step in the evolution of demonology, transforming the varied and complex spiritual beings of the ancient world into a unified force of evil opposed to the divine order. As we move forward in this narrative, we will see how these early beliefs and interpretations laid the groundwork for the development of a more systematic and codified demonology in the medieval period, a time when the fear of demons became a powerful force shaping every aspect of life, from theology to politics, and from art to daily existence. Theological foundations, the battle between good and evil. With the foundation of demonology rooted in ancient beliefs, the The medieval period saw the emergence of a more structured and theological understanding of demons, deeply intertwined with Christian doctrine. This era was marked by an intense focus on the cosmic struggle between good and evil, a narrative that permeated every level of society. The Church, as the central authority on spiritual matters, played a crucial role in defining and interpreting the nature of demons, drawing heavily on biblical texts and the writings of early Church fathers. Biblical foundations. The Bible, particularly the New Testament, provided a rich source of material for the development of medieval demonology. Key passages were interpreted as evidence of the existence and activity of demons in the world. For instance, the story of the fall of Lucifer in Isaiah 14 and the expulsion of the rebel angels in Revelation 12 were foundational texts that depicted the origin of demons as fallen angels, beings that had once been part of the divine order but were cast out due to their rebellion against God. The New Testament further reinforced these ideas with its numerous accounts of Jesus and his disciples performing exorcisms, casting out demons that had possessed individuals. These stories were seen not only as miracles, but also as proof of the ongoing spiritual warfare between Christ and the forces of darkness. The portrayal of demons as entities that could inhabit and control humans was particularly influential, leading to the widespread belief that possession was a real and present danger. A belief that would later fuel the fears of witchcraft and heresy in the medieval period. Apocryphal influence. Beyond the canonical scriptures, apocryphal texts also played a significant role in shaping medieval demonology. One of the most influential of these texts was the Book of Enoch, an ancient Jewish work that was widely read in early Christian communities. The Book of Enoch expanded on the brief mentions of fallen angels in the Bible, providing a detailed account of how these beings descended to earth, mated with human women, and gave birth to the Nephilim, a race of giants that brought chaos and destruction to the world. This story not only provided a more elaborate narrative for the origin of demons, but also introduced the idea that demons were not just spiritual beings, but had a physical presence on earth. The Book of Enoch's vivid descriptions of the Watchers, angels who defied God and became the progenitors of demonic entities, greatly influenced medieval views on the nature of demons and their relationship to humanity. These apocryphal stories, though not officially part of the Christian canon, were nonetheless deeply influential in medieval thought. They provided a more vivid and detailed understanding of the cosmic struggle between good and evil, enriching the medieval imagination with tales of celestial rebellion and divine retribution. This blending of canonical and apocryphal texts helped to create a complex and multi-layered demonology that would become central to the religious and cultural life of the Middle Ages. The medieval church's role, consolidating demonology. As the medieval church sought to assert its authority over both spiritual and temporal matters, demonology became a crucial tool in its arsenal. The church's efforts to define and combat the forces of darkness led to the consolidation of demonological beliefs into a more systematic and organized framework. This process was driven by several key developments, including the standardization of doctrine through church councils, the intellectual contributions of medieval scholars, and the publication of influential texts that codified the nature of demons and their interactions with the world. Council of Nicaea and doctrinal standardization. The early church councils, such as the Council of Nicaea in 325 AD, played a vital role in shaping Christian doctrine, including beliefs about demons. While the primary focus of these councils was on defining the nature of Christ and the Trinity, they also contributed to the broader theological framework within which demonology would be developed. By establishing orthodoxy and condemning heresies, the Church sought to create a unified belief system that left little room for alternative interpretations of spiritual beings. This drive for doctrinal purity helped to consolidate the Christian understanding of demons as fallen angels, eternally opposed to God and humanity. Scholasticism and the intellectualization of demonology. The rise of scholasticism in the medieval period brought a more intellectual and philosophical approach to demonology. Scholars like Thomas Aquinas and Albertus Magnus applied the methods of Aristotelian logic to theological questions, including the nature of demons. In his seminal work, Summa Theologica, Aquinas dedicated a significant portion to discussing the existence, nature, and powers of demons. He argued that demons, as purely spiritual beings, were capable of influencing the physical world, but were ultimately subject to the will of God. Aquinas' work, along with that of other scholastics, helped to systematize and rationalize demonology, making it a legitimate field of study within the broader context of Christian theology. This intellectualization of demonology not only reinforced the Church's authority on the matter, but also provided a framework that could be used to address contemporary concerns, such as witchcraft and heresy, the Malleus Maleficarum, and the codification of witch hunting. One of the most significant developments in the consolidation of medieval demonology was the publication of the Malleus Maleficarum, the Hammer of Witches, in 1487. Written by Heinrich Kramer and Jacob Springer, this infamous manual became the definitive guide to identifying, prosecuting, and executing witches, whom the authors claimed were in league with demons. The Malleus Maleficarum built on existing demonological beliefs, codifying them into a set of procedures that could be used by church and secular authorities alike. The impact of the Malleus Maleficarum was profound. It provided a practical application for the theoretical discussions of demons that had taken place in scholastic circles, turning demonology from a purely academic pursuit into a tool of social control. The fear of demonic influence, as propagated by the Malleus Maleficarum, led to the widespread persecution of supposed witches and heretics, with thousands of people, mostly women, being tortured and executed during the witch hunts that swept across Europe in the late medieval and early modern periods. Cultural and societal impact, demonology in everyday life. As demonology became more deeply entrenched in the medieval worldview, its influence extended beyond the confines of theology and academia, permeating every aspect of daily life. The fear of demons and their supposed influence was not just a matter of religious doctrine. It was a pervasive element of medieval culture that shaped attitudes, behaviors, and societal norms. Demonology and witch hunts. The most notorious manifestation of demonology in medieval society was the witch hunts. Fueled by the belief that witches were in league with demons, these hunts were often driven by social and economic factors as much as by religious fervor. Accusations of witchcraft were frequently directed at those who were marginalized or scapegoated within their communities, widows, healers, and those who did not conform to societal expectations. The idea that demons could possess or corrupt individuals gave the church and secular authorities a justification for the brutal persecution of those accused of witchcraft. The witch hunts were not only a reflection of the fear of demonic influence, but also a means of reinforcing social hierarchies and control. By rooting out supposed witches, authorities could eliminate dissent and maintain order, using the threat of demonic possession as a powerful deterrent against nonconformity. The witch hunts also served to solidify the Church's role as the ultimate arbiter of moral and spiritual purity, as only the Church had the power to exorcise demons and protect the faithful from their influence. Art and literature. Medieval art and literature were deeply influenced by the fear of demons, with depictions of hell and its inhabitants serving as vivid reminders of the consequences of sin. The demonic figures in these works were often grotesque and terrifying, designed to instill fear and reinforce the moral teachings of the Church. Manuscripts, stained glass windows, and sculptures frequently portrayed scenes of demonic torment, emphasizing the reality of the spiritual battle between good and evil. Literary works from the medieval period also reflect the influence of demonology. Stories of demonic possession, pacts with the devil, and encounters with malevolent spirits were popular themes in medieval literature, providing both entertainment and moral instruction. These narratives not only entertained audiences, but also reinforced the demonological beliefs that were being propagated by the Church. The decline and legacy, transition to the early modern period. As the medieval period gave way to the Renaissance and the early modern era, the influence of demonology began to wane. The rise of humanism, the scientific revolution, and the Protestant Reformation all contributed to a gradual shift in attitudes towards demons and the supernatural. Renaissance skepticism. The Renaissance brought a renewed interest in classical learning and a more critical approach to traditional beliefs. Humanist scholars began to question the validity of demonological doctrines, seeking to understand the natural world through reason and observation rather than through the lens of superstition. This shift in perspective led to a decline in the fear of demons, as people began to seek more rational explanations for the phenomena that had once been attributed to supernatural forces. Enduring influence. Despite the decline in the belief in demons, the legacy of medieval demonology continued to influence Western culture. The fear of demonic influence persisted in popular imagination, finding new expressions in literature, art, and folklore. The themes of possession, exorcism, and the struggle between good and evil remained powerful motifs, resurfacing in various forms throughout the centuries. Even today, the influence of medieval demonology can be seen in modern horror films, literature, and popular culture, where the fear of the unknown and the battle against unseen forces continue to captivate audiences. The enduring fascination with demons and the supernatural is a testament to the powerful hold that these medieval beliefs still have on our collective psyche. The timeless struggle with the unseen. The story of medieval demonology is a story of fear, power, and the human need to explain the unknown. From its ancient roots to its consolidation in the Middle Ages, demonology evolved into a complex system of belief that shaped not only religious doctrine, but also the very essence of medieval society. It was a tool of control, a source of terror, and a reflection of the deep-seated anxieties of a world where the boundary between the physical and the spiritual was constantly in flux. As we reflect on the history of demonology, we are reminded that the struggle with the unseen is a timeless one. The fears and beliefs that drove the medieval understanding of demons may have changed form, but they continue to resonate in our modern world. Whether in the shadows of our nightmares or the pages of our stories, the demons of the past still haunt us, a reminder of the enduring power of the unknown.